Today we're going to look at Bitcoin and some Bitcoin proxies in the form of Tesla, Block, MicroStrategy, and Coin. But before we get into it, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. Let's get into this. So Bitcoin here, we see we have been kind of crawling up ever since we hit the 200-day moving average down here back on October 2nd. Now, I don't love this formation that it's making right now. This looks very controlled, very flaggy. It could end up being a bear flag taking us back down. We'll know it's a bear flag if it gets below 62,609. So let me just go ahead and put one right about there. Oh, a little higher than that. All right, that's fine. I'm going to make that yellow. All right, so that there is our line in the sand saying, hey, this is now becoming a bear flag territory in terms of it revisiting the 200-day moving average down at $60,000. We may collide with $60,000 one more time before we see this thing really, really rip. That's just coming off of the fact that this really isn't exploding up. It's very controlled. It's very much a channel upward, and that tends to look like a bear flag. Now, we do know that Bitcoin occasionally does make those types of formations and then blast off higher, but sometimes it respects them. Like this one back here was very much a bull flag. These three candles right there, September 14, 15, and 16, that was a really nice bull flag, very textbook there. Same back here. This was also a nice little bull flag right there, from August 9th until August 15th. So it does respect those sometimes, and same thing with bear flags. Occasionally it does respect them. Other times it just says, I'm going higher regardless of what it looks like. So keep that in mind with Bitcoin. So let's see here. We have come back underneath the neckline of the double bottom, though, to come back to that 200-day moving average. So that's not great for Bitcoin, but the fast-moving oscillators are still pointing up. The slow-moving oscillator is flattening out at the top there. So there is some room to move around. So there's some wiggle here, but I don't like the current formation on Bitcoin. So that's not great. We could see one more flash down. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla actually has been kind of roaring up in the name of this Robotaxi Day that's coming in 3 days. So 3 days from now, they're doing the Robotaxi event in LA. And they've kind of been roaring up off of that. Now, there was a little bit of a pullback here from October 1st until October 3rd, but now we're flattening out and kind of flagging up here again right now. And that is very interesting to see on Tesla. Tesla sort of does its own thing. It's not super pegged to Bitcoin itself. It's not a huge part of their balance sheet, but they are technically a proxy for it since they do hold so much on their balance sheet. But they don't really rely on Bitcoin, so they do their own thing. But it is looking pretty strong right here. I like this pullback into the 21 EMA and bounce up. It's flagging here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trading back up at 265 to possibly even looking at $300, especially if this Robotaxi event goes well in a couple of days. So Tesla actually on the daily is looking really, really good here. Let's see. Yeah, as long as it holds that 21 EMA above $242, wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trading up closer to 300 real soon. Let's take a look at their weekly real quick, see if there's anything extra to see on there. We had this wicked double bottom came out on the weekly. Look at that, it came down. There's the bottom there, came up, did one more bottom, and then all the way up to the top. Textbook move. And then we're cooling off now to reset there on the weekly on Tesla. We get that little reset. We could be testing the highs back here at $300 real soon. The cycle highs back here from July, pretty easily actually. And we are seeing something of it's an ugly one, but it's there. Something of an inverted head and shoulders here, right? Like there, there's the head, shoulder. We're kind of right on that neckline there right now for it. We could see that thing go and drive us higher, especially if that ends up being an inverted head and shoulders. We could even see ourselves running for, even $400 again on this thing if that turns out to be the case. So watch Tesla for that. That's pretty interesting, actually, on the weekly. Let me go back to the daily. All right, let's take a look at Block. How's Block doing? So Block kind of it came out of my descending channel here that I've had for a long time because I was talking about it for a while, and I said if it needs to break 73 for me to be super interested in it again. And it didn't. It came right up to my line, broke all the way to the lows. Or what was that? Was that August 5th? Yeah. Well, yeah, that was August 5th. Broke all the way to the lows. September 5th, though, or 9th, 10th, sorry, September 10th, that other drop actually ended up being a higher low. And then we got a higher high, and now we have another higher low. I like this structure on Block right now, actually. We came up, did a little double top, made a low, came up, made a higher high, and now we're making a higher low, and now we're on our way back up again. Where could this take us? I could see this potentially taking us back up to 73, especially since this is a nice little channel. Right here, we had a nice little channel. We're breaking out of that channel as we speak. So if we can get up and above $67, honestly, up and above $67 on block, I'm looking forward to come back up to $73 pretty quick. I do like this. This does look like a bull flag, and it is a higher low coming off of a higher high, meaning that it will likely want to make another higher high above $70, and 73 seems to be that area of resistance that has tested before and failed that we need to get back to. Okay, let me turn on the indicators that I've got here, SMA. So yeah, we're struggling at the 200-day moving average. So we got to get above that, which is at 66.55. Honestly, we need to get above $67 before I'd be interested in this and watching it go higher up to 73. Around 73, I would be expecting to see some resistance again and potentially even failure. Let's look at the weekly. Oh, the weekly is even better. Okay. Let me delete that. The weekly's even better. Oh yeah, I like this a lot actually. So we came down to the 21. We got like these really long wicks on bottom. This is very much a bull flag right there on the weekly. And that, if that proves to be a bull flag, yeah, that is taking us right back to 73 on the weekly. I like that a lot actually for block. I just want to see it get over 67 on the daily, and then I'd be very interested in what's going on block here right now, at least for the short term, at least through November for block. So keep that on your radar. That's very interesting to see. All right, let's go to MicroStrategy, the darling of this whole thing, and it will not stop climbing. I'm out of all my puts right now, which is not good. Sold puts, not bought. So this was not good for me right now because it keeps climbing higher. I was expecting to see a bit of a pullback today, especially if we go on the lower time frames. I was tracking this rising wedge here. And I was expecting it to break to the downside one more time. It's not doing that. Even though Bitcoin's not like super outperforming right now, MicroStrategy is. And I'm a little bit sad I missed out on that right now. I could have gotten 100% on my put instead of 70%, or sorry, 60%, but that's okay. We'll wait for it to come back down, or we'll come back in with more money. That's all we're going to have to do here with MicroStrategy. Anyways, where can this thing go? So it's breaking out right now. It is at the peak here of the momentum oscillator with the fast ones. The fast ones are at its highest one. This blue one needs to catch up though. That's the fastest one, and that's not near the top. So once that blue one gets up to the top, I would be expecting this to curl back over and come back to test like 170. At that point, I'll probably go in selling another put at like 165. Yeah, but 160, 165, somewhere in there, and ride that up to 200. This thing is looking super strong. This was a bull flag right here. That was a bull flag leading into 2 days, which is yesterday and today, of just massive pushes, a massive push up. We're coming out of this really ugly head and shoulders right there, shoulder, head, tiny little shoulder, and then blast off into a bull flag and higher. This bull flag could take us to $200. I could miss out on some significant profit here, but that's okay because we don't chase, we wait. We let price come to us, or we let price prove that it deserves to be as high as it is. Minimum, I'd want to see it come back to 180, 181, 180 minimum before I'd be looking at getting back into MicroStrategy, or I want to see it conquer like 190 and show that it wants to go up to 200, and then I'd ride it up to 200, and then I'd be jumping off of that train for that. Let's take a look at the weekly on this one as well. How's that one looking? Oh, this looks good. Yeah, this is primed for a breakout. Let me just, this weekly candle that we're making right now, it's a gap up. So we might come back to test 176 at some point in the week or next week, and then that'll probably just be a wick, and then we'll see ourselves climbing higher to 200 probably in the next couple of weeks, to be honest. Either that or we lose this structure here. And let me draw this on here. You're going to see some stuff here. Or we lose this structure, this channel, and if we lose that channel, we're coming right back down to like 120. So that could happen too. And that's why I'm being a little more cautious with this, especially with all these momentum oscillators being at the top right now. You can see down here, the momentum oscillators are all kind of hanging out at the top. Notice when they all converge and point down, even for a couple of days, like 2 weeks, right? That's dramatic. And that could move us down from, 184-ish back down to 102. And I don't want to get caught in that. And it's done this once, twice, 3 times now. Who's to say it's not going to do it a 4th time? Now, we have been making higher highs each time on this. And one time we made higher lows, but then we went and made a lower low. So now I want to see this come back down and make a higher low right now. Maybe even the 21 week moving average down there at 148. I wouldn't be surprised to see that tap one more time, but I am weary of that. That's why I'm being more cautious on this. That's why I'm trying not to get wrecked. I've made a few $1,000s on this in the last 2 months, and I'd like to keep it. So I'm trying not to screw myself by buying in too frequently at too high a price. Now I know I can roll myself out of it, but I just don't want to deal with it. All right, let's take a look at coin. Ooh, coin is making a bear flag. So right here, bear flag on coin. We came into the 21 EMA. We're barely conquering it. We're seeing ourselves have some struggles there. Now, I do like seeing the momentum oscillators all down at the bottom here. They're all kind of converging down at the bottom, and they do have the 3 fast ones are pointing up. They are pointing up, so that's a good sign. That is a good sign, but it can flounder here, flagging for a little bit before moving back up maybe to the 200-day moving average, which would converge with this dotted trend line I've got here going up. Well, then that would take it up to 186.67, which is entirely possible. I mean, we did come up, make a higher low. We would really need to make a higher high in order for this to, but I don't like this other structure. Look at this coming down here. When we came down from 272, we came down, did a leg, came down, did an identical leg, and now we're coming down again, and we're making a smaller bear flag. I wouldn't be surprised to revisit 145, 146 before crawling back up above the 200-day moving average. I would not be surprised by that at all on coin. I don't like how coin currently is looking with that big ugly legs on the way down. Not a huge fan. We would need to get back above 192 before I'm saying like coin looks good up to 230, 240. After that, but before that, it's not great. Now we are looking like this could be an inverted head and shoulders. It could be a slanted inverted head and shoulders. We got a shoulder, head, and then we come down a little bit more, like kind of like that with an ugly little bumpy shoulder. And then once we get above the 200-day moving average, this could take us all the way back up to 250, even $300 on coin. So watch out for that pullback potentially. We are on a bear flag, on a bearish pattern right now on the daily for coin at the moment. Now that could be short-lived, could be short-term. The oscillators are pointing up, so this could drive higher to the 200-day moving average. With ease, it could do that, but the formation doesn't look like it wants to support that narrative. Yeah, weekly as well. The weekly, we had this bear flag on the weekly for 3 weeks. And then on the 4th week, we broke below the dotted line, which was the trend line. We came up to the 21 on the weekly and failed. That sucks. And we are now hanging out in the bottom half of that that candle that broke the bear flag right now. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of the way this looks. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it come right back down. Yeah, test 160, maybe even a little bit lower, and then curl back up and test that 21 one more time after that. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio. Be on the lookout for a Cypher When Moon this week. I'm planning to get that out this week. And with that said, please have a profitable day.